Respected moderator, thank you for the good words you have told about me. A very warm good morning to one and all. So, first of all, I would like to appreciate the organizing committee for choosing this theme, which is very relevant today. Most of us were really worried about the future of religious life. So we are concerned about the formation and the outcome of the present formation. This paper, this redefining religious, priestly and religious life today, is not going to be on theological or philosophical foundations, but I'm not a competent person to talk on philosophy or theology. But from my experience, I would place this paper in the context of the people, which is very, very much needed and relevant today. So, before we redefine the priestly and religious formation, first of all, we should redefine the goals of religious formation today. So, how are we going to redefine the goals of formation? Are we satisfied with the present state of formation, where we have people, obedient people, some of them, and apparently celibate, and people who are moralizing, and authoritarian religious, priests and religious, who are ready to perform the sacramental functions as well as the institutional functions. If we are satisfied, I think this present formation can go on the same way. But what do the vast majority of people, the poor people, the downtrodden and the marginalized people, expect from a priest and religious? They expect a spiritual leader from a priest and religious. What does it mean? So a spiritual leader is not a person who has learned some facts or mastered some theology or mastered some techniques. It is beyond that. And what does it mean? Spiritual leaders. So they are people who they had intense experience of the Bible, the reality of the Bible, and at the same time they must be freed from all that. So the gospel value should have freed that person, and also they should find meaning in this fragmented world and able to communicate this meaning to others. How is it possible in today's formation to be a spiritual leader? And this needs an intense experience, not only God experience, intense experience of the people, the real life of the people, and the real poor people. So then only this person can emerge as a spiritual leader. Otherwise, it's not. So we cannot have a spiritual leader. So what does that mean? Then in order to have a goal, then we need to set some trends. So in order to set the trend, the first one is situating formation in the context. Is the present formation context oriented, or our seminaries and formation house are situated among the people, or mostly they are cut off from the mainstream of life? So that is the biggest problem with present day formation. So it is very much needed that we should situate our formation in the field, among the field, and this would need that the whole structure and the value of formation has to be changed. This structure and value of formation from the Western model to the tradition, to the theology and philosophy and pastoral aspects of the Indian spirituality, culture, and life itself. Unless we situate the formation in the theology and pastoral aspects and in the Indian context, the present formation is not going to be relevant. That means the formees have to be offered intense experiences of in the field. Mainly, they should be molded in the field. That is why we say that situating formation in the context. Then this needs an integral human formation. What do you mean by integral human formation? A good human being is a good religious. Unless he or she is a good human being, how can he or she be a good religious? So the basic of being a good religious is based on the good human qualities. Persons who are endowed with this sense of justice, sense of fairness, and sense of accountability and sincerity, such people are counted by people. Otherwise, we are looked down upon by people. So that this qualities, Pope St. Francis calls it authenticity. So he calls the seminarians and the religious to be people who are very authentic, people who are consistent. So that is why he says that our life, so you should proclaim the gospel through the life. He quotes St. Francis here. So you have to proclaim the gospel, but not words, but through your life. Your life should be credible and transparent. Another aspect he points out, Pope Francis, is transparency. He talks about being transparent to the confessors. So I would say it's not only enough to be transparent to the confessors, but you would know very well. So transparency is very much needed in day-to-day life. Unless priests and religious who are transparent in handling the money, in the use of material resources, how much they are looked down upon by people. This is the biggest challenge that we have today, because people look down on the religious and the priests. It is because of their not being transparent in handling the material resources. So how are we going to develop all these qualities? Are we going to develop this? Is it possible for us to develop in today's formation all these qualities? But I don't think it's not possible. So we have to redefine the formation. The redefining of formation should be in smaller groups. So only in smaller groups, the formees will be able to learn much and also interact. They will be able to interact much. Otherwise, formation will not be effective. But what is the physical environment of formation also is very much needed. We have large seminaries or large formation houses where we have number of candidates. So the number of seminarians and formees are more. Are we able to fully form them? Here you should take into account this formation is education. Education means growth. So formation should be growth oriented. If it should be growth oriented, then it should be in small groups. So these small groups of people often come together and share with each other, share their life experiences along with the formator, then only it will be useful. Otherwise, big groups, how can we address to all these people? So we say that each one is unique. Then where is the uniqueness of the person? So how can this person, this formee, develop his uniqueness, individuality, and his own way of reaching God or reaching the people? How is it possible? So our formation should be in smaller groups, in smaller communities. Another thing that often we commit mistakes is that most of our formation houses are placed in a well placed cities or in the outskirts of cities. It is very, very much needed that we should place our seminaries or formation houses outside the comfort zones. So mostly our seminaries or our formation houses are situated in the cities or outskirts of the cities with lot of technical facilities. So we don't lack any modern equipments in our formation houses. How will the person who is coming to entering into religious life without all that from a village, so how can he or she have growth? So all these material things simply lead her to a cozy life. After coming to religious life, they learn a cozy life. So they don't want to challenge themselves. Where is the time for them to challenge? Because all their aspirations for personal growth are stunned because of all the materials. We fill them with all materials. Yesterday, it was full of flood in, day before yesterday, full of flood in Chennai. How many religious houses are affected by the flood? Or how many religious seminaries or formation houses are affected by flood? No. So we are not affected by flood. Even the middle class people in Chennai are suffering. Up to here, the water, they are not able to walk. They are not able to function. So they don't have any meal. Some of them, 2-3 days, there was no current and they were not able to know network. They were not able to communicate with anybody. But in all our houses, we have inverters. We don't really experience the pain of not having electricity. Then what is formation? So my dear brothers and sisters, we must think of that. So our formation houses must be placed outside all that in a very simple situation among the people. See, only among the people you will be molded. It is my firm belief and my own experience. I would like here to share my experience. So I was teaching in a higher secondary school as an assistant principal of the school. I used to go around and collect all the girls around our school, and we used to put them in the school. I used to take a lot of interest in that. But most of the time, they don't turn up. So when I go there and bring them, and they don't turn up the next day, or in the other day, they will come late or lot of things. So I decided, why these people are like this? I was really sometimes irritated because I'm taking so much of interest on them. They don't show any interest. So I visited their homes. That colony was very close to our convent. So actually, the compound of our convent is very close to this colony. And I went to their houses and decided to sit with them and talk to them. And in one of the houses, it was around 6 o'clock. I went to one of the houses. Imagine, it was a house, the wall, only our compound wall supported this shed of that family. It was 5 people inside, and there was hardly any place to sit. But it was 6 o'clock. I was looking at the mother. She was simply sitting without cooking anything for the children, and the children seemed to be very hungry. And I asked her, what happened? And she said, the whole day we did not eat anything. I thought that I would get the cool eat this evening, but I did not get. I have nothing to cook for my children. See, the whole night I couldn't sleep. That made me to think, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? You are eating 5 times, and one at the outside this road is starving with children. So, unless you are touched by the life of the people, there is no formation can never take place. I always tell my sisters, see, I have never, most of our formation I took from the people with whom I lived. They taught me, they taught all my ideas or whatever that may be, my goals, my aspirations, all that I picked up from the people. So unless we place our people, and even my God experience is from the people. So unless we place our formies in that situation, I don't think that formation is possible anymore. And also the forming of people for mission. So as I told you already, forming of people for mission, even Pope calls them that they have to be missionary disciples of Jesus. What does it mean? So he says, so are you want to be inside your convent, inside your seminaries, inside your parishes? No, you should go out. He tells, you go out in search of people, the marginalized people on the crossroads, people who do not come to the church, he tells. So go in search of them. So that I would translate to our own situation, that is, we must make our people, our formies, go to the periphery, go in search of women who are suffering, the transcenders, the people, the downtrodden, the Dalits, all the people who are in the peripheries, the children. Unless they go there, they will not get the real spirit, because then only they can question themselves. The life of people will question them. Otherwise, there is no scope for our formation. So let us all think that all comfortable and these things will not work out anymore. And lastly, the integral spirituality. What is the spirituality that we are giving in our formation houses? The spirituality is a sort of piety. It's practicing. So lot of practices, spiritual practices are there. Sometimes I myself are fed up of people having one after another prayer. But what does the prayer do for you? Have this prayer molded you, your conviction, your life of sacrifice, your life for Christ and Christ's people? If it has not touched you, what is the use of all these prayers, spending so much of time from morning 5:30 till 7:30? Most of us are in prayer. So what does it mean? Even it is not able to prepare a credible person unless it prepares a credible person who can commit themselves for mission and who is interested in the people and who can stand for the values of justice and peace, who can stand for the values of gospel. So here I always used to tell very jokingly to my sisters. See, many of them say, oh, we have to be very diplomatic. This word diplomacy, I hate very much. So I'm sorry if some of you accept it. Please forgive me. But the only word which I hate is diplomacy. Suppose if Jesus had been diplomat, he had been a diplomat, so he would not have been killed at the age of 33. And we all of us say that we are following a Christ who was killed at the age of 33 for not being diplomat. Okay? So diplomacy is not needed. So here I would really appreciate in Karnataka, I was admiring. So I always look at the socio-political all issues of the people. But in Karnataka, I would really salute you and the bishop and all the priests and religious for doing a wonderful job during this election. So they were able to do something very concretely. So I really appreciate your commitment. This is what we have to do. I tell you, this is what we have to do collectively. And our formation should prepare people for such a life. So, and also lastly, the committed for life-giving, growth-promoting formators. So, life-giving, growth-promoting formators, it's very difficult to find. Even being a major superior, how difficult it is to find formators. Most of you are formators. I really say my hearty congratulations to you, because it is really a sacrificial mission, I would say. I always used to say, being a formator, even I myself will not be able to be a formator. Okay, but you are really a wonderful formator, spending so much of time for the people. So, but are we able to find credible people for our formation? It is a question, but we should find people. Good people are always, when we ask them, they want to go for institutionalized ministry, to schools, to social work centers and other things, but not for formation. We have to convince people to take up formation. So, with all the challenges that we are facing, it's not enough to have a single formator. So, we need a team of formators that would really give this formation a new thrust. So a new definition we can give for formation if we are able to get more formators. And more formators, they should think in one line. So not having different orientations. So if we are thinking in different lines, that's another problem. No, sometimes I used to angrily tell the people, no, we social workers, good social workers are there, but they will not come together and think together. So they will have, each one will have their own petty shops. I call it petty shops. So don't run your own petty shop, come together and have something common and concrete. So this way, here also we should see all the formators together in one thinking and one mind, for the sake of Christ, for the sake of the commitment we have given in the consecrated life. We come together and plan for our future formation, and that would create really credible religious, credible priest. And then I think the purpose of this seminar will be possible. And I have given all these recommendations. I think I don't go into the details of the recommendations. Recommendations are mostly from the talk, so I can go through it, the recommendations. And lastly, I have concluded my paper with, I think most of you would know it, disturb us, Lord. No? This prayer, disturb us, Lord. Most of the time, we are self-complacent. We are very happy with whatever we have done. So here, I would ask the Lord to disturb us. We need to get disturbed by everything. The flood in Chennai should disturb me. Whatever that happens, this should disturb me and should push me for action. So Lord, disturb us all so that the redefining of priestly and religious formation is possible today in our midst. Thank you very much.